Listen carefully because this is not a small message and it is not something you should brush aside. There is a person deeply tied to your heart, and right now they are standing inside a problem that has grown bigger than they can manage in silence. It touches their mind, it touches their peace, and whether you fully see it yet or not, it touches you too. Something is shifting behind the scenes. Something real is unfolding in a quiet way that is not fully visible yet, but still strongly felt. You may have already sensed it in small moments, in sudden thoughts that came out of nowhere, in memories that returned without warning, or in that strange heaviness that appears for no clear reason. That feeling is not random. It is a signal. It is a sign that this connection is moving through an important season of change. So stay with this because what you are about to understand may help you make sense of what your heart has been trying to process in silence. Do not rush past it. Do not dismiss it too quickly. What is happening now could become a turning point in ways you do not fully expect yet. The person connected to you is carrying confusion, pressure, and emotions they can no longer fully hide from themselves. On the surface, they may still look fine. They may still act normal. They may still keep themselves busy and speak as if everything is under control. But deep inside, something is catching up with them. Thoughts they avoided are starting to return. Emotions they pushed aside are beginning to rise again. This moment is not asking for your panic. It is asking for your attention and your steadiness. Because what happens next is not something to fear, but something to understand. There is a door inside them that has stayed closed for too long, and now life is slowly pressing against it. Your person is not only dealing with outside pressure. The harder battle is happening inside their own mind. It is the battle between what feels safe and what feels true. For a long time they tried to move forward without fully facing certain emotions. They told themselves that staying busy would be enough. They believed time would fix what they were avoiding. They thought they could bury certain memories, silence certain feelings, and still continue as normal. But some truths do not stay buried. Some emotions always find their way back. And some connections do not lose meaning just because they are ignored. They continue to exist quietly, even in distance, even in silence. That is where they are now. Thoughts they once escaped are returning at the end of long days. Feelings they tried to ignore are becoming louder inside them. Their heart is asking questions their mind can no longer fully avoid. This creates inner tension that is not easy for them to explain. One part of them wants clarity. Another part fears what clarity might require. One part wants to move closer. Another part remembers pain and pulls them back. If their energy has felt mixed or inconsistent, this is why. If they seem present one day and distant the next, this is also why. It is not always because they do not care. In many cases, it is because they care more deeply than they know how to handle. And when emotions become too strong and too complicated, people often step back, not because of lack of feeling, but because they are overwhelmed by it. Keep listening because this matters more than it seems. What they are going through is not empty confusion. It is not meaningless hesitation. It is pressure building toward a moment they can no longer avoid forever. Even though you cannot see everything from the outside, it does not mean nothing is happening. Some of the most important changes in a person's life begin quietly in places no one else can see. Just like roots grow before a tree appears, and just like a foundation is built before a house stands, emotional change often happens long before any visible action follows. Your person is in that hidden stage right now. They are starting to realize that what once felt comfortable no longer brings peace. Old distractions are losing their effect. The things they used to rely on to avoid their feelings are not working the same anymore. Silence feels louder, distraction feels weaker, and inner emotions are becoming harder to ignore. Something deeper inside them wants honesty, and honesty always changes the direction of a life, even when that change is uncomfortable at first. The moment someone truly sees what they have been avoiding, they cannot fully return to the old way of pretending. Something inside them shifts permanently, even if slowly. That is why restlessness has been building. That is why certain thoughts keep returning again and again. That is why this connection continues to appear in their mind, even when they try to focus elsewhere. You may have felt something similar too. You may have noticed memories returning without warning. You may have felt emotions rise without a clear reason. You may have sensed that something between you and them still feels unfinished. Do not ignore that completely, but also, do not let it control your peace. There is movement here. Quiet movement but real movement. And when inner change begins, outer change usually follows in time. Even if it does not happen immediately, growth inside a person often takes time before it becomes visible in actions or words. Right now, your role is not to force answers. It is not to chase clarity before it is ready. And it is not to create conclusions, just to calm uncertainty. Your role is to stay steady while things unfold naturally. That is real strength, not loud strength, not emotional chaos, but quiet strength. The kind of strength that remains calm even when feelings rise. The kind that does not break just because answers are delayed. The kind that does not let fear write the story before the truth is fully revealed. This season is teaching both of you something important. While they are learning accountability, you are learning patience. While they are learning honesty, you are learning trust. While they are learning courage, you are learning emotional balance. These lessons are not easy, but they shape something deeper in you. Many people lose meaningful connections, not because they were not real, but because they reacted too quickly. They let fear speak louder than understanding. They made decisions in moments of uncertainty that they later regretted. You are being guided away from that pattern. So if your heart has been restless, slow yourself down. If your mind has been racing with assumptions, step back from those thoughts. If you have been tempted to assume the worst, pause and look again with more patience. This is not the season to destroy your peace with fear. This is the season to protect your peace while truth slowly reveals itself in its own time. And if this message is reaching something inside you, stay with it a little longer because there is still more beneath the surface. The truth is that your person is getting tired. Tired of carrying unfinished emotions. Tired of replaying old memories in their mind. Tired of acting like certain feelings no longer exist. Tired of wondering what could have been. And tired of carrying something inside them that never fully resolved. This kind of tiredness is important because sometimes exhaustion becomes the moment where avoidance stops working. A person can only ignore their feelings for so long before it starts to feel heavier than facing them. That is where they are slowly moving. They may not fully understand it yet. They may still hesitate. They may still go back and forth between clarity and confusion. But something inside them is changing direction. The comfort they once protected is starting to feel less safe than the truth they are avoiding. And when that shift begins, life can start to move faster than expected. A conversation that once felt impossible can suddenly become possible. A truth that was buried can begin to surface. A guarded heart can slowly start to open again. So if things have felt slow, do not assume they will stay slow forever. And if things have felt distant, do not assume distance is permanent. Some of the biggest changes arrive after long periods of silence. Some of the clearest truths appear after long emotional waiting. Your job now is not to lose hope. Your job is to stay aware, stay steady, and stay open enough to recognize when things begin to shift in reality, not just in feeling. There are also outside influences around them, and not all of those influences are helpful. Some voices are encouraging growth and reflection. Others are pulling them back into comfort and avoidance. Some situations are forcing deeper thinking. Others are encouraging distraction so they do not have to face what matters. This is part of why their energy may feel unstable. Some days they feel clear and confident. Other days they feel uncertain again. Some moments they feel ready to face things. Then fear returns. Old wounds reopen and hesitation takes over once more. But do not mistake hesitation for lack of feeling. Often hesitation comes from feeling too much at once and not knowing how to handle it in a healthy way. They are wrestling with vulnerability. They are wrestling with emotional change. They are wrestling with the question of what happens after truth is finally spoken. That fear is real, but it is not stronger than truth forever. Eventually, truth becomes louder than fear, and when that happens, things begin to shift in ways that are hard to ignore. You may start noticing small signs first: a change in tone, a slightly softer response, a moment of honesty that feels different from before, a shift in energy that feels more sincere. Pay attention to those small changes because they matter more than they seem. Growth rarely arrives perfectly. It does not usually come all at once. It often arrives slowly in pieces, sometimes even awkwardly. But even small movement is still movement. And if you only wait for perfection, you may miss the early signs of real change. At the same time, something important is happening within you as well. This season is not only shaping them, it is shaping you. You are learning how to keep your peace without shutting down your heart. You are learning how to trust your inner understanding instead of constantly needing reassurance from outside. You are learning how to stay grounded even when answers are delayed. And you are learning how to remain emotionally balanced even when circumstances feel uncertain. These are not simple lessons, but they are important ones, and they stay with you long after this situation changes. So keep going with patience. Keep your heart open, but not overwhelmed. Keep your mind clear, but not fearful. And allow time to do what it needs to do without forcing outcomes before they are ready. Because in the end, what is meant to become clear will become clear. Those lessons matter because the next phase of this connection will require maturity from both sides. Not perfection, but maturity. The ability to listen without rushing to defend. The ability to speak honestly without turning every fear into a fact. The ability to pause, understand, and respond with care instead of reacting too quickly. The ability to choose truth over old patterns that used to control emotions without awareness. Maybe a year ago, this situation would have shaken you much more than it does now. Maybe back then, uncertainty would have taken over your thoughts faster, and your emotions would have been pulled in every direction. But you are not the same person anymore. Life has stretched you in quiet but powerful ways. Delays did not just test you, they shaped you. Disappointment did not just hurt you. It strengthened your ability to stand again after falling. Every hard season gave you something. Even if you did not notice it at the time, nothing you went through was wasted. It all contributed to the person you are becoming. It prepared you for moments like this, where emotional steadiness is more important than emotional reaction. And that kind of steadiness is not common. It is built slowly through experience, reflection, and growth. So, do not underestimate your progress. Do not only focus on what still feels unclear or unfinished. Look more closely at who you have become in the middle of all of this. Notice how your reactions have changed. Notice how your heart does not jump into fear as quickly as it used to. Notice how you can now hold space for uncertainty without breaking inside it. That strength will matter when the next chapter begins to unfold. And the next chapter may not begin in the dramatic way people often expect. It may not come with big confessions or overwhelming moments. It may start quietly, through a simple message, through a calm conversation, through a moment where silence starts to feel heavier than honesty. And when that moment comes, do not expect perfection. Expect sincerity instead. Expect real human emotion. Expect awkward pauses, unfinished thoughts, and truth that comes out slowly instead of all at once. People rarely reveal everything in a single moment. Most of the time, they reveal their inner world step by step in small pieces that slowly build a bigger picture. Sometimes the first sign of change is not a grand declaration. It is simply that someone stops running from what they feel. And even that small shift carries meaning because when avoidance ends, awareness begins. And when awareness begins, something inside the situation starts to move. If that moment comes, do not only listen to the words being said, listen to what is underneath them. Pay attention to the energy behind the message. Notice the effort it took to speak honestly. Notice the shift from silence to expression. Notice where the truth is trying to form where fear once controlled everything. This matters because real change often looks softer than people imagine. It does not always arrive in strong or confident language. Sometimes it arrives in hesitation. Sometimes it comes through imperfect honesty, through someone admitting something they have carried for a long time but never knew how to say out loud. That kind of honesty may feel small, but it can shift everything. So remain calm and remain wise. Do not let old fears make you misunderstand new truth. This situation is still unfolding even if parts of it feel uncertain or still. There are pieces moving quietly in the background, forming direction even if you cannot see it fully yet. Even now, when it feels like nothing is happening, something is becoming clearer. Something is slowly organizing itself into the next stage. And when that shift becomes visible, your emotional balance will matter more than anything else. It will help you respond with clarity instead of panic. There is a reason this connection has felt heavier lately. There is a reason your intuition has been stronger. There is a reason certain memories, thoughts, and emotions keep returning without warning. These patterns are not random. They are part of a deeper process that is asking for awareness, not confusion. This season is not only about feelings. It is also about growth. It is about learning. It is about finally facing things that were left unresolved. The pressure you feel is not here to destroy anything. It is here to reveal what is real and what can no longer stay hidden. Fear always pushes for fast reactions. It wants assumptions. It wants protection at any cost. It wants you to close off before anything can hurt you again. But wisdom moves differently. Wisdom asks you to stay grounded, to observe, to wait until truth becomes clear, instead of reacting to what is unclear. That difference matters more now than ever, because what is happening here is not only emotional. It is also deeply personal growth for both sides. It is about self-awareness. It is about understanding patterns that have been repeated for too long. It is about learning a better way to respond to emotional truth. The pressure around this connection is not meant to break it. It is revealing what is strong enough to last and what is no longer meant to stay hidden. That is why emotions feel closer to the surface. That is why small moments feel more meaningful than usual. That is why silence sometimes feels heavy instead of empty. Under all of this, growth is happening. Growth within you. Growth within them. Growth within the connection itself. And growth is rarely comfortable while it is happening. It does not feel organized or predictable. It often feels confusing before it starts to make sense. Clarity does not arrive all at once. It comes gradually. It comes through choices, through moments of honesty, through small shifts in behavior and understanding. Bit by bit, things begin to make more sense. Even if the full picture is not visible yet. Hold that close to your heart. Especially if you have been feeling tired from waiting or uncertain about what comes next. The story is not finished. It is still unfolding. And what happens next will depend on decisions that have not fully been made yet. Their choices matter. Your choices matter. The choice to stop hiding feelings matters. The choice to speak instead of assuming matters. The choice to meet truth with openness instead of fear will shape what comes next. They are approaching a point where they will need to decide whether to stay silent or finally face what they feel. And you are approaching a point where you will need to decide whether to let fear control your peace or let wisdom guide your response. That is why this moment is important. Not because everything is already decided, but because something is becoming ready to change. This is not only about what they feel, it is also about who both of you are becoming through everything that has happened. Strong connections are not proven during easy times. They are revealed during uncertain ones. They are shaped when clarity is delayed and emotions are complicated. And if something is real, it does not disappear just because the path becomes difficult. Instead, it is tested, refined, and either strengthened or released. And if you have been wondering whether anything meaningful is happening, the answer is yes. Something meaningful is happening. Something deep is shifting. Old silence is starting to weaken. Old resistance is losing strength. Old confusion is beginning to break apart slowly. Through that breaking point, something more honest may begin to appear. Something clearer, something more real than what existed before. And when that begins to surface, your peace will help you handle it with understanding instead of emotional overload. Protect your heart, but do not harden it. Stay open enough to see truth, but steady enough not to lose yourself in uncertainty. Because the next movement in this story may arrive sooner than expected. And when it does, you will need clarity more than fear. So remember this as you move forward. The struggle they are facing will not last forever. The confusion will not last forever. The waiting will not last forever. Every season changes eventually. Even the ones that feel slow or heavy. Every experience teaches something in time. And no matter how this unfolds from here, you are already more prepared than you were when this journey began. That alone matters more than it may seem right now. This chapter has not been empty pain. It has been preparation. It has been shaping your emotional strength. It has been teaching patience, awareness, and emotional control. It has been helping you value peace more deeply and trust what is real, even when it is not fully visible yet. They are also learning, even if slowly and imperfectly. Awareness is building within them too. Pressure is forming into decisions that cannot be delayed forever. Something inside them is moving toward a point where silence will no longer feel comfortable. So take this as a reminder to stay steady, not closed off, not cold, just steady. Let fear quiet down. Let wisdom become louder. Let patience do its work without interruption. Because some of the most important answers do not arrive with noise. They arrive in quiet moments when everything else slows down, and some of the most important changes begin long before they can be clearly seen. The story is still moving forward. The truth is still rising. And the next chapter is much closer than it appears, right?